In this lesson, I'd like to demonstrate some of the proofing tools available to you while working on a Word 2010 document. Proofing tools which include Word 2010's automatic spell checker, its grammar checker, as well as a built-in thesaurus. Most often, as you're working on your document, you'll know right away whether Word has spotted one of these types of errors. You'll notice, in fact, right now in the document that I have displayed on your screen, that certain words in the document appear with a red squiggly underline. Others might have a blue underline or even a green underline. The red underlines indicate a possible misspelling in the word that you've typed. A blue underline indicates a possible misuse of a word. The green underlines represent a possible grammatical error in the words or the sentence that the underline appears within. Now, in a few moments, I'm going to show you how to run the spell checking tool available from the Review tab of your ribbon by clicking the Spelling and Grammar button located on the far left of this ribbon. However, I also want to quickly show you that if you wish to, a lot of these corrections can be made as you type. When you're typing in your document, should you see the red underlines appear, if you wish to, you can right mouse click over the word that's been underlined, as I'm doing so now with the misspelling of the word designed. By right-clicking this word that has the red underline, I will see possible correct spelling suggestions available to me in the menu that's appeared when I right-click. In this case, I'm going to choose the properly spelled version of the word designed, thus replacing that word with the one I've just selected. Now, having done so, you'll now notice that the words "are designed" have a green underline below them. This represents a possible grammatical error, and were I to right mouse click on that, I'm being informed by Word that this is being done in the passive voice, and I might consider revising this particular phrasing of these words in my document. However, in this particular instance, I'm going to choose to ignore the suggestion by Microsoft Word, thus keeping the words "are designed" as is within the current document. The same could also be true of words that are possibly misspelled. Oftentimes, in fact, Word might underline a person's last name, or perhaps the name of a company or a city that it doesn't recognize. In other words, proper nouns might be considered misspellings to Word 2010. If this is the case, again, you can either choose to ignore the one instance, ignore all of the instances, or better yet, if you think that you might be referring to that same proper noun frequently within this and other documents, you can choose to add the spelling to your dictionary. Any spelling that's been added to your dictionary will not show up as a misspelled word in this or other documents. Now, in this particular menu, having right-clicked the misspelling of the word selected, I'm going to choose the proper spelling of the word selected, again, available to me here from the menu provided. Now, as I mentioned, other examples that might show up as possible misspellings or grammatical errors within your document would also include the misuse of a particular word. Here, for example, in this sentence that I've selected reading, "I could really use your advice" regarding the next section of this document, the word advise should actually have been typed as the word advice. Here again, Word has caught this. Even though the word advise is not misspelled, it is not the proper word that should have been used in this sentence. So were I to right mouse click, I will now see Word suggesting that I should have used the word advice as opposed to the word advise. Now, for the remaining possible errors in my document, again with the red and green underlines, though I could right mouse click each of these possible errors, I'm going to save these possible errors to demonstrate how you might accomplish the same thing by running the spelling and grammar check from the Review tab of your Word 2010 ribbon. Here now, from the left of the Review tab, I'm going to click the Spelling and Grammar button, or if you wish to, press the F7 key on your keyboard to run this tool via the keyboard shortcut. In either case, once the tool has been launched, Word will begin searching from the beginning of the document, looking for possible misspellings and grammatical errors. In this case, you may use the options available on the right side of this window to perform similar actions to that of which we saw when using the right mouse click option. Here, for example, Word has found the possible error of the word tab being repeated more than once, which indeed was a mistake. So what I'd like to do is delete the second occurrence of the repeated word tab. Once that change has been made, Word will move on to the next possible grammatical error or spell check error that it finds in the document. Here it's found the extra spaces between the words find and extra. I'll choose the option of change to make the appropriate change, thus eliminating one of the spaces between those two words. And finally, Word has found the use of a contraction. Wouldn't you agree? Now, in this particular case, Word does not have a possible suggestion for me to change it to. What it does do, however, is suggest that I consider revising the contraction, which, upon closing the window, I can decide if I would rather keep what I've got here as the contraction wouldn't appears, or perhaps I'll change it to read, would you not agree? Now, having done that, I see yet again the word agree appear with a green underline. And here we see an example of Word suggesting that I follow up the word agree with a period as opposed to a question mark, which serves as a perfect example of where Word 2010 may not always be completely accurate in suggesting the possible errors that you'll see upon using the spelling and grammar check, especially when it comes to the grammar check. Here again, I'm going to choose to ignore this as I am asking a question and thus would need my sentence to end in a question mark. Now, one of the other tools that's available to you that falls under the umbrella of word proofing tools is that of the thesaurus. Now again, though I can highlight a particular word that I wish to look up in my thesaurus, doing so by clicking the thesaurus button here to the left of the Review tab, you can also simply right mouse click any word within your document, highlight the option of synonyms, and have a built-in list of synonyms that you can instantly change the selected word to with a single click. If I don't find the exact word I'd like to choose from here in the provided menu, I could always activate the thesaurus from the bottom of this menu. But perhaps I'm looking to change the word good to the word worthy, an option available from the menu. And you can now see that the word good that was once in between the double quotes now has been replaced with the word worthy, and again done so by way of the thesaurus. A great tool should you experience some writer's block and need a little bit more assistance on coming up with some better adjectives while writing up your document in Word 2010. Now again, had I selected that word and clicked on the thesaurus button here to the left of the Review tab, we would actually see many more options available to us appearing within the research panel on the right side of my document. Here we can see possible uses of the word worthy, which would give us a more accurate synonym in which to replace that with. In other words, was I using the word worthy as something to have meant well-intentioned, commendable? Depending on how I was using the word, I might choose from various categories of replacement words available to me here in the research panel, having activated the thesaurus. And speaking of the research pane, while I have this panel open, which, by the way, can be opened at any point you wish to manually by clicking the Research button here to the left of the Review tab, you'll also find other resources built in to the Research panel, such as the Encarta Dictionary, various research sites, as well as a built-in Thomas Gale Company Profiles Guide, all tools readily available to you from the Research panel of Word 2010. Another feature you might find interesting, available from the left side of the Review tab, is that of the word count feature. Here, you'll get much more than just a simple word count. We can see through the word count window the number of pages, words, the number of characters excluding and including spaces in this document, the number of paragraphs and lines of text. And you can use the word count feature for the entire document, or select a particular part of your document where upon clicking the word count button, you'll get statistics specific to the area that you have selected prior to clicking the word count button. Here, for example, we now see the word count window reflecting information about the one paragraph that I just selected prior to reactivating the word count feature. Now, when it comes to utilizing the spelling and grammar check feature of Word 2010, you might find that you would like to tailor or customize the way that the spelling and grammar check actually works. What I'd like to do next is show you that from the File tab, if I were to open up the Options window of Word 2010, one of the categories on the left side of the Options window is Proofing. Here, you'll find options for changing the settings when Word is correcting spelling and grammar within your document. By clicking the options available here in the When Correcting Spelling and Grammar in Word section, or going a bit further by clicking the Settings button, you'll find several different ways in which you can customize the way that the spelling and grammar checks work while using them in Word 2010. Here, for example, I could choose to simply not check grammar while checking spelling of my document. Or perhaps instead, limit the grammar check to just grammar and not the grammar and style in which I've written my document in. Of course, once you make any changes to these settings here, you'd want to click OK to put those changes into effect.
Click on the video to continue.